For almost half a century, haulage giant Eddie Stobart has been delivering the goods that help keep the UK running.
Another day, another mile.
Making a drop every 4 seconds, their 4,000 truckers drive the distance to the moon and back every day.
Everything's got a deadline. Pressure's on now, yeah.
But there's more to Stobart than trucking. They've got an expanding rail division and a newly acquired airport in Southend.
This is going to be a regional airport with a difference.
But the beating heart of the company is the truckers.
It's not an easy job and it's not an easy lifestyle.
Welcome to the most terrible day I'm having.
They're the ones on the front line, feeling the pressure.
You don't stop.
You need to keep your wits about you.
But if anyone can do it,
Keep smiling their way.
they can.
That's us. We're good to go. Let's join the fun, shall we?
Coming up, two home nations fight it out as Welshman Ashley Maddox takes on Englishman Mark Dixon in a major truck-off.
That's Wales 1, England 0 at the minute, isn't it?
Stobart's very own easy rider Phil Kirkpatrick starts to feel the pressure.
We've got 4 minutes to spare. I'll start a flap. This is a flapping situation.
The firm's apprentices are back, and it's time for them to get behind the wheel.
Just hoping it all goes well and I don't crash.
Hopefully he won't be catching up with me in A&E.
Eddie Stobart's red and green machines make them one of the most iconic haulage firms in the country. They've got more than 2,000 trucks on the road, and they've transported everything from Formula One racing cars to famous landmarks like the lights above Piccadilly Circus. Now 23 Stobart trucks and truckers are taking part in a 3-day logistical marathon, making a series of deliveries that could affect a nation. They're dropping off 700 rolls of grass at Cardiff's world-famous Millennium Stadium, so the pitch can be relayed for future Welsh international sporting events.
If it's going to the Millennium Stadium, it's not just your average kind of turf. It's got to be something pretty special.
And a trucker doing one of the last runs is 44-year-old Ashley Maddox. As a tramper, he lives in his truck 5 days a week, but this job will be something of a home fixture for him.
Being a Welshman myself, I'm born and bred in Cardiff. It's a bit of an honour.
Like many of his fellow countrymen, Ashley's been to the stadium before, when Wales met their fiercest rivals.
So I watched Wales play England at football. The atmosphere is just absolutely brilliant.
And on that day in 2006, Wales lost 1-0. So Ashley's just about to get involved in a rematch to even up the scoreline.
Apparently I've got to meet another driver up there.
Hot on his tail, representing England, is Stobart's resident pin-up boy, 34-year-old trucker Mark Dixon.
I've never carried turf before. I don't know what it runs like. I don't even know how to load it. If I drive a long time, I've got to stop and water it.
But Ashley doesn't see it as a laughing matter. The gloves are off.
So Mr. Dixon's going to have to get his passport out of date because he's actually delivering turf on my turf. So he'll have to watch his step.
Between them, Ashley and Mark will be collecting 40 rolls of turf that have been specially grown in a field in Derbyshire. They'll then travel 170 miles to Cardiff, where they'll drop their load at the stadium. But there's an added complication for both teams. The collection point is top secret.
So apparently they keep this location a bit of a secret so that nobody sort of comes around of a night time and helps themselves.
I haven't got a clue where I'm going. It's just some field, I think, at the side of a road.
So both drivers only have a company name to go by and a village as a point of reference. Mark's 10 miles behind Ashley, who piles on the pressure by arriving in the area first.
If you look around, it's all greenery and fields, and apparently that's all it is a field, which I don't suppose is going to be signposted, Ashley, this is the field you want. It's going to be a bit like trying to find a roll of turf in a haystack, it is.
Ashley soon comes to the conclusion that one patch of grass looks just like another.
It's not that field. It's not that field. I'll say it's not that field. It's not that field. It's not that field. I can't see nothing there. Like I say, you can't see the grass for the green round here.
Ashley mainly delivers soft drinks, so this load is as unusual as it gets.
I've had some stuff on the back of this truck. I've had a load of coke on there. Now I'm picking a load of grass up. I've got to be careful I don't get them for hauling contraband.
Ashley beats Mark to the collection point.
So I actually think this is it. It's a bit of a tight spot.
It's a narrow track down to the turf farm, but not enough to stop this Welsh maestro surging into midfield.
It's as easy as that.
County Turf grows more than 5 million square metres of quality grass per year. As well as Premiership football and county cricket clubs, they've also supplied the pitch to the 2012 Olympic Stadium and the lawns at Buckingham Palace. Each strip of grass measures 12 metres in length, and once it's been lifted, has to be laid within 15 hours. For transportation, it's rolled around a protective plastic sheet. And when it reaches the Millennium Stadium, up to 700 rolls will be pieced together like a giant jigsaw. And as Ashley's trailer gets loaded up with 20 rolls of turf, he has the chance to contemplate his opponent's weakness. Stobart pride themselves on their truck and truckers looking pristine, and Ashley knows there's no one more house-proud than Yorkshire lad Mark Squeaky Clean Dixon.
He'd be crying his eyes out now, all this mud.
I don't do mud. My truck don't get muddy. Me and my lorry, we seem to when you come to muck, it just doesn't want to go.
But Mark better get used to it, because he's arrived at the turf farm.
Oh, look at the mud.
Oh, I think it's... Mr. Dixon's just turned up for his load of turf now. You can imagine the walk now, can you? Be going like this.
This is why I've got to get my boots dirty.
I personally think it's going to be the first thing he's going to mention. He go, oh, it's a bit muddy here. I polished my truck last night.
And Ashley's done his homework on the opposing team as Mark tiptoes his way around the field.
I don't normally do mud. I'm a bit of a clean freak. I like things to be clean. There's no need for them to be dirty. Look at that, look. Stay at that.
But proud Englishman Mark wants a win, so the mind games begin.
I want to see you get out.
You all right with this, so?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah? You sure now?
It's game on. Now fully loaded, Ashley's truck and trailer weigh almost 44 tonnes, and the only way out of this farm is by driving up the same narrow, muddy track they came down.
This is going to be a heavy, heavy load to get round this bend and up that slope.
I want to see him get out of here, because you don't have much traction.
Right, let's get out of here anyhow. We're going to give this a go.
Good on, mate.
But the canny Welsh wizard's also something of a master tactician.
I try a bit of traction control and second gear.
Ashley hopes this will enable his truck to have adequate acceleration and grip to get through the mud.
Go on, son.
Ashley puts his boot to the floor. He shoots. And he scores.
Sweet as a nut, that was actually no problem at all.
That's Wales 1, England 0 at the minute, isn't it?
Now it's all eyes on the Englishman's manoeuvre. Find out if he hits the spot later. Coming up, trucking loves in the air for Phil Kirkpatrick, Stobart style.
She's a lovely shape. That's sexy.
And it's crunch time in the big match, where things are getting dirty.
Road dog.
Just thought, you can have a look at my back doors for a bit.
Making a delivery every 4 seconds, Stobart trucks run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The company has a turnover of almost £500 million, so it's big business.
Go, go, go. Deliveries have to be made.
And for the drivers on the front line, it can be big pressure. But one driver who can handle it is 58-year-old Phil Kirkpatrick, Stobart's very own daddy cool.
I mean, there is a lot of pressure, but you've just got to keep calm and just basically run through it.
Today, Phil's starting at Stobart's Crick depot in the Midlands.
There's no point in starting the day without a cup of tea.
But with only truck depot tea on offer, maybe there is. With something hot and steamy inside him, time to get going.
OK, time to get on the road, see what the day holds for us.
Phil's run this morning is a 75-mile trip down to Enfield in North London, where he'll drop 4 pallets of deodorant at a wholesaler's. It's now 8 o'clock, and he's got a delivery slot of 10 a.m. But before hitting the road, the ever-smooth Mr. Kirkpatrick has a routine for nippy winter mornings, just like today.
It's a cold day out there today, and a man's got to keep warm when he's driving. There's only one thing that keep my hands warm, and that's these. Now we're set.
But he's not finished just yet. Now he looks the film star part. Finally time for this easy rider to get trucking.
We're on the move at the moment, so we're cooking.
As he hits the M1 southbound, it's a good job he's donned those shades.
Yeah, it's a bit of a glary day today. Hence the glasses, you see. They're not just for show.
We believe you, Phil. With the sun streaming into his cab, it's not so ice cool anymore.
Well, it's certainly warming up in here, so I think we can discard of these bad boys. That's better.
Things soon get positively steamy. Phil's brought along the special girl in his life, and it's not the missus.
Old Daphne here, she'll probably help me out.
It's his sat-nav system, nicknamed Daphne.
She's very posh, very posh. She's too good for me.
After 300 yards, take the exit.
Very posh. She's a lovely shape. She's got a nice face. She's got some nice buttons to press. Dead sexy.
30 miles down the M1 and the low-lying sun is back.
Well, it just blinds you out, basically. It's a bit of a hazard all around. It's even too low for the sun visor.
And it's not only affecting Phil, it's causing the other traffic to slow down.
This is the last thing we need.
All Stobart deliveries have a specific time slot. If they miss it, the loads could be rejected. An hour of ambling along, and Phil's in danger of missing his delivery. And as he pulls onto the slip road, things get worse.
We're just going to get there at 10 o'clock now. That's without this delay. It's pretty heavy up there.
With a scheduled 10 o'clock delivery slot, now even cool hand Phil is feeling the pressure.
2 minutes to 10. Come on. If I could get out and run. Yeah, it's like walking through treacle. No, we've had it now. We've had it.
Luckily for Phil, most drops Stobart make allow half an hour for lateness.
So we're into the 30-minute window. 10 past 10. We've got another 20 minutes.
But with no let-up in the traffic, even that window is looking dodgy.
I was starting to flap. I don't normally flap, but this is a flapping situation. Move. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
At last, he's on the move, and with only minutes to spare, he arrives at the wholesalers.
This is it. Yes, got it.
All Phil has to do now is park up, but it's a cluttered yard.
We need to miss that car for a start. That's where we need to be.
This complicated run isn't over just yet.
All right, mate.
Can you swing around?
Yeah, do you want me facing that way? Yeah. He wants me to turn around. Well, there's not a lot of room.
But he goes for it.
This is crazy. I don't think we're going to do it. Everything's in your way.
Phil keeps his cool.
Getting a bit tight back there.
And manages to swing his 54-foot truck and trailer around.
Cracked it.
Phil's certainly worked up a sweat today, but with his 4 pallets of deodorant safely dropped off, the sweet smell of success is in the air for Daddy Cool.
That was pretty smooth, that drop.
135 miles away, English trucker Mark Dixon and Welsh trucker Ashley Maddox are going head-to-head, collecting turf for the Millennium Stadium pitch. Ashley's already managed to drive his 44-ton truck up a muddy track out of the turf farm.
There we go.
So it's Wales 1, England 0.
But look at how much mud is left now for me to, like, tread through.
Next up is Mark, looking to even the score. But disaster strikes. His wheels are now firmly stuck in the mud. It's the trucking equivalent of missing an open goal.
It changed gear halfway up, didn't it? Friggin' automatics.
While savvy Ashley opted to put his truck into second gear, Mark left his in automatic.
As I was coming up, it changed gear, my truck, and I dug a little hole.
With Mark's star player, his truck Phoebe Grace, down injured, time to bring on a stretcher in the form of a tractor with a tow chain.
We're off.
It has no problem pulling the 44-ton truck out of the mud bath. This is all the England team needs to kickstart their run for glory.
I think Welsh Ashley was just a bit lucky, you know what I mean?
Already on the road and 110 miles off home ground, Ashley's in a positive mood.
You've got an Englishman and a Welshman delivering turf down to the Millennium Stadium in the sacred city of Cardiff. I'll get down there first and get tipped, and we'll hang about then, see how Mark fares to see what time he turns up.
In the name of fair play, Mark telephones Ashley to tell him about the muddy encounter.
Hello?
How we doing, Ashley?
Yeah, not too bad, yourself?
We're getting there. I'll get out of there, mate. Not a problem. I got a big JCB to pull me.
You're joking! God! Oh, it happens, doesn't it? That's what you get, Mark, for being the lesser driver, see?
It's, at the minute, it's what, 1-0 to you, innit?
Wales are ahead, Mark. If I'd have got stuck, I think I'd have just sort of, buried my head in my hands and tried to overcome the embarrassment of it, to be honest with you. It has made my day, actually. I would have loved to have been there and seen it.
But Mark has paid the penalty for getting caught in the mud. Not only is he a goal down, he's also 15 miles behind Ashley. It's game on. For the next 90 minutes, both drivers pound the tarmac, covering almost 80 miles.
I just picked up the M50 now. This is the gateway into Wales.
And it now looks like Mark is piling on the pressure.
We're about an hour away now, so we're basically just dropping down into Wales.
Ashley's taken his eye off the ball as Mark pulls alongside him.
Road dog. Where did he come from?
Mark's taken the lead and he's racing towards goal, the Millennium Stadium.
I got complacent and comfortable because the truck knows the way.
Mark can't resist phoning Ashley to give him a ribbing.
Just thought, you know, you can have a look at my back doors for a bit.
Do you bring your passport?
No, I didn't. I forgot it. Why do I need it for Wales?
Well, yeah, you're going to need it any second now, mate, because you're getting close to the border now.
Oh, is that right? All right.
Soon enough, much to Ashley's delight, they cross into Wales.
The sun has come out.
As Ashley drives past his hometown of Newport, he can almost smell the green, green grass of home.
Just coming around the outskirts of Newport now.
Mark may be in front, but with Ashley being on home turf, he takes the lead so Mark can follow him in.
Bit of a convoy going on. It's always nice when you got another driver, you know what I mean? Because it's nice to stare at someone's back doors, or you know. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? I'm looking at your back doors.
Now in the city centre, Mark sticks close to his Welsh opposition.
It's nice to be back home.
After 170 miles and almost 4 hours on the road, they reach their goal.
That there is obviously, yeah, that's the Millennium Stadium there.
As Ashley pulls in, his true Welsh dragon comes out.
There we go. Lovely.
And Mark conjures up his inner English gent.
How bloody lovely.
But as they drive under the stadium, it's a close shave.
It's a bit tight under here, I've got to be honest.
Both trucks are only inches from the ceiling. But with this trucking football match now in injury time, the drivers show their true skill and park up, bang on schedule. Completed in 1999, the all-seater Millennium Stadium cost £121 million to build, has a retractable roof and can hold 75,000 people. It takes 3 days to relay the pitch, which will have more than 1.5 billion blades of grass on it. And the lucky groundsmen who cut it will cover 7 miles as they travel continuously up and down and from side to side. The final whistle is blown and the trucks are unloaded. And Ashley and Mark get the chance for some post-match banter.
So you're quite lucky, really, that you've got this far now down this neck of the woods, because it's obviously a lot cleaner and more manageable for you, isn't it, to get in and out of than what it was where you picked that turf up?
I wasn't stuck, it was just a little minor problem, but I still caught up with you. When we left, I said, like, Welsh 1, English 0. I think, to be fair, it's kind of a draw now, because I would have beat you, wouldn't I?
We'll call it a draw, all right?
All right, then.
Even Stevens, isn't we, eh?
Team spirit.
Yes.
With the honours even, Mark heads off to his next job. But the Welsh wizard Ashley hasn't finished just yet.
Just before I go, I have got one thing left that I need to do. It's a must before I leave this site. To me, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I know it's a bit cheeky, but I've got to go and do it. Here we are, on the green, green grass of home. How proud am I? Very proud. This is definitely a Welshman's dream, this is.
Coming up, the Stobart apprentices are in at the deep end as they take to the road.
My boot got stuck. It messed the whole thing up.
The headlights, I just genuinely didn't see it.
And Ashley's been loaded with grass.
Come on, stick your foot down.
Now he gets loaded with booze.
I can't remember the last time that I've wanted to get a load on so quick in all my life.
Eight weeks ago, Eddie Stobart started one of its most ambitious schemes, an apprenticeship for budding truckers.
It's really crucial now that we can fetch them into a scheme, get them to Class 1, and they've got a job at the end of it.
What we're doing here is very, very serious. These things are not to be taken lightly.
With the aim of being trained up to become the next generation of Stobart drivers, 20 hopefuls have been whittled down to 10.
Granny, Granny, I'm through. I got it. Oh, I'm shaking like hell, man, but I'm so happy.
When he said past that, I was over the moon. I just wanted to run up and give him a big hug and a kiss.
With an average age of 19, over the last 2 months, these 10 lads have been learning the art of truck driving at Stobart's very own academy in Widnes.
Everything's changed massively since starting the apprenticeship. I used to lie in bed all day.
6, 7 weeks ago, and I weren't doing nothing.
20-year-old Matt West and 19-year-old Paul With are 2 budding truckers who made the final cut. And for trucking mad Preston lad Matt, it means the world.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's a massive change for me.
For Paul, who hasn't had a job since leaving school, it's life-changing.
This is happening. This is my life. It's a good feeling.
They've learned how to drive a truck simulator and shadowed drivers. But having passed their theory tests, it's now time for them to take control of a real truck for the very first time.
A bit intimidating, just the size.
Just hoping it all goes well and I don't crash.
Hopefully he won't be catching up with me in A&E.
Clearly nervous, they head out for their first lesson. If they pass, the apprentices will qualify for an HGV Class 2 licence, allowing them to drive a truck with a fixed trailer. With 6 days of lessons, the course normally costs over £1,000 a head. A stretch for anyone, especially lads as young as these. Putting them through their paces will be a team of instructors whose company has been responsible for training some 20,000 drivers.
You always want them to pass, and you do your best to get them to standard, and you feel responsible for that.
Vehicle checks done. It's time for the trucking novices to get behind the wheel. Their first run out will be around the yard at Stobart's Widnes depot.
OK, so select third.
Set your gas, a little bit of clutch, nice and smooth. OK, just get a feel for it, man.
Over the next 6 days, they've got a lot to learn. There's 12 gears on the truck, allowing for more pull when it's fully loaded.
Bit of gas, 7th gear. Go on, 7.
Because of the size of the vehicle, when turning, they have to give a wide berth.
Full lock on, go on, full lock on.
Hard on now, hard on.
Then there's the mirrors. The driver's blind spot on a truck is much bigger than a car.
Check your mirrors before you put the signal on.
And one of the most important things of all, braking.
I just want you to get used to the feel of the brake, so bring the vehicle to a stop now. Just get used to it. That would be the brakes, yeah.
It's a shaky start for young Paul.
So it's getting used to the brakes.
Sharp, aren't they?
They are sharp. They are quite
Sorry
powerful.
about that.
It was good for a start off. That was fine.
Take a little bit of getting used to, but you know I'm learning, aren't I?
Happy with that?
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, he needs to be confident, but not ranging on overconfident.
It was good. That gearbox is a bit dodgy. It could have been a bit smoother, but it wasn't too bad, was it?
Over the next few days, the lads hit the roads.
This time we'll carry straight on.
And when Matt gets to a roundabout, his confidence takes a hit.
So it's a test of nerve as well.
When he doesn't commit to pulling out, a long queue of traffic starts building up behind him.
I've been sat here for ages.
Finally, he manages to make a move. But after 4 days of training, the apprentices are feeling far from confident.
I'm in a mood. So I'm just in a mood. So it was
I've had a lot to learn, a lot to think about. Constant observation, even sitting in the passenger seat, always looking at something.
And they're not the only ones to have noticed the slow progress.
Test was tomorrow, none of them had passed.
So the instructors take matters into their own hands and decide to put the apprentices through a mock test.
It's going to be proper exam conditions today. We're not allowed to talk. Martin doesn't give us any guidance or anything. It's just follow the road ahead, turn left, all the directions.
Properly nervous, but I know on the day that I will be more nervous than what I am now.
Split into pairs with other apprentices, Matt and Paul are first up to sit their mock tests. They head off in different trucks. Matt's first big test is a roundabout, something that previously gave him trouble. But he crosses it without a hitch.
The traffic lights, we're going to turn left.
But when he has to stop at a set of lights, he hits a problem. He's managed to jam his foot under the clutch, almost stalling the truck.
Sorry, I had my foot stuck.
That one mistake could cost him the test. In the other truck, Paul starts with confidence. But the nerves soon kick in, and he struggles to overtake a cyclist. Then things go from bad to worse as he commits a cardinal sin and runs a red light. So with the mock test over, how did they do?
Quick
First up, Matt.
2 occasions where he would have picked up a serious fault. When he tried to let the clutch up to move off, his foot got stuck because his boots are too big for the footwell.
No, I didn't pass. Just round here, my boot got stuck in it. It messed the whole thing up.
But that's not all.
Then he tried to pull out to overtake the parked vehicles, and there was a lady coming down in a blue car, and he sort of forced her to stop, to let him go.
But Matt doesn't see it that way.
She didn't think she had enough room to get past, but she did.
And it's also a fail for Paul.
What a problem with a push bike where it's very hesitant. He was trying to be safe, but the road was clear and he should have made the progress and got on with it. And then unfortunately we had a red light on a pedestrian crossing that we went through, so end of story.
The red light, I just genuinely didn't see it. It was difficult. That hour on the road was a lot more difficult than any of the training I've ever had.
But Paul and Matt weren't the only ones to fail their mocks. All the other 8 apprentices did as well. With their proper tests looming, we'll see how they get on later. If the apprentices passed their tests, they could work within any of the company's 5 divisions, such as biomass and chilled. Or at Stobart's very own inland port in Widnes, near Liverpool. Every year, 300,000 containers arrive here via seaports in the northwest. And today, a container that's come in is loaded with 24,000 litres of wine from Australia. Sealed in a vacuum-packed bag, it's got to be taken to a bottling factory and then onto a distribution centre. It's a 2-phase truck journey, and picking up the baton for the first leg is 50-year-old Roy Pilkington. This vintage trucker has 24 years' experience as a port trucker.
Yeah, I'm running a little bit behind today because the mail terminal's very busy this morning.
But time waiting for his load is time lost on the road.
Should be on our way in about 10 minutes.
After taking a valuable 10-minute chunk out of Roy's driving time, the crane pilot finally swings his wine container across the yard.
There's the container coming over the top now. Yeah, it's the right container. We're getting close to our delivery time, so we have to get a move on.
From the Widnes port, Roy will be driving 20 miles south to a bottling plant in Elton, Cheshire. There, the wine will be siphoned off and bottled in 2 hours, ready to be dispatched. A second driver will be on hand to whisk the wine away, 140 miles northeast to a distribution centre in Goole, ready to be put onto shelves and guzzled by the British public. Roy's up against it. A specific delivery slot at the bottling plant means he's only got 27 minutes to make his 20-mile journey south.
We're late. Obviously, the bottling procedure doesn't start on time, so the knock-on effect can be it won't get to the shops.
Although Roy's load is most people's idea of heaven, it can be a trucking nightmare.
You can feel the wine sloshing around in the big bag in the container. When you come to brake, you don't brake too severe because you can feel it pushing you forward.
So any sudden moves and Roy could be in for an early bath.
Keep pushing along so we can get there on time.
On the M56, Roy's reminded of just how unpredictable the roads can be.
Been a crash. It looks a bad crash. Yeah, front of a car. Fortunately for those on this side, it's going to be all running nice and smoothly.
Roy arrives at the bottling factory to hand over his precious cargo. Every second counts on this particular job, and he's 6 minutes behind schedule.
It shouldn't be a problem, I hope.
Roy pulls into the depot. With no time to spare, he has to perform a tricky reverse, inching his way into a tight spot amongst pipework, ready to unload.
Let's get unloaded.
Roy's truck is pulling a slider trailer, which needs to shorten to tip this particular load. The slider trailer costs £18,000 and is the most versatile trailer in the Stobart fleet. Able to carry either a 20-foot or a 45-foot container, it's specially designed to slide in and out by 6 foot to allow easy drop-off of any load. It even has a nickname, the Skelly, short for skeleton because it looks like a stripped-down trailer. In his cab, Roy has an agonising wait ahead as the wine is tested for CO2 and dissolved oxygen. If it doesn't reach the standard set by the customer, the whole 24,000-litre bag could be rejected. But this batch of wine is good.
That's my leg of the journey done. Hopefully the lads who are picking it up later this afternoon should get it on time for the customer.
But before that, it's all systems go at the plant so the wine can be bottled. A hose is attached to the bag's tap and the wine is pumped out at an astonishing rate of 400 litres a minute. Straight into the filling hall, where state-of-the-art equipment on the production line sets to work, filling 32,000 empty bottles with the wine from Roy's container. As this process goes on inside, outside, a second driver arrives in the shape of Stobart stalwart Ashley Maddox.
Please, thank you.
OK, thank you, cheers.
It's his job to take the bottled wine the final leg of the journey. But he's running out of working hours. For him, that spells disaster.
It's basically now what time we're looking at, 4 o'clock. I've got 3 hours left. It's looking a little bit iffy at the moment.
Despite arriving early to try and win time, the wine's not ready to be dispatched yet. So there's only one thing Ashley can do. Sit and wait.
This could potentially turn into a bit of a nightmare day.
And time-conscious Ashley is getting restless.
The longer I sit here, the minutes are ticking away. I've got my coat on, I've got my high-vis vest on, I've got my gloves ready, but the only thing that's missing is the bloody load.
Inside the plant, the wine's been capped, boxed and palleted. Then robots deliver the 32,000 bottles to one of Europe's largest fully automated warehouses, ready for dispatch. Finally, there's news for Ashley, who's got just over 2.5 hours to travel 114 miles northeast to a distribution centre in Goole.
Straight on Bay E08, please.
Bay
E.
E, lovely job, thank you. OK, cheers. Ooh, result. We might have a chance with this now. I think old Lady Luck is shining down on us now. If I can get out of here in half an hour, that gives us a bit of a fighting chance.
And if his hours do run out, he can't park for the night with this high-value load on board. Now the pressure is on for the Welsh trucking wizard.
It's going to be done as quick as I can, this. It gets a bit, you know, iffy when every minute counts. I can't remember the last time that I've wanted to get a load on so quick in all my life.
Everyone in the warehouse pulls together to help an anxious Ashley.
Come on, stick your foot down. This wine's obviously come a long way, so I don't want to be the guy that's going to be responsible for not getting it there.
Find out later if Ashley makes it. Coming up, it's D-Day for the apprentices as they face their biggest test.
There's a lot more riding on it, like it's my job, it's my future.
It's suddenly become real. I don't like it.
And will Ashley call time on his load of wine?
Mission Impossible is going through my mind.
Trucker Ashley Maddox is at a bottling plant in Cheshire, where the staff have just got him loaded with Australian wine.
Brilliant job, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it, thanks for your help.
He's now got a 114-mile journey to a distribution centre in Goole, but he's quickly running out of driving time.
We've got 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's getting down to the minute now.
Ashley sparks his 13-litre, 460 brake horsepower beast into life and hits the road with his load of 32,000 bottles of wine.
So looking at the time now and the mileage we've got to do, today is a serious race against time.
But Ashley's leaving in rush hour traffic and the odds are stacked against him.
I've asked myself the question, is it going to be wine on time?
On the M62, the busy traffic starts to slow.
I'd like to be doing 56 mile an hour, but at the moment we're averaging 30 mile an hour.
If Ashley can't notch up his maximum speed, he's had it.
God, Bennett, honestly, now this is just adding to it now. This is bottom.
Things are looking bleak.
Mission Impossible is going through my mind. I don't like failing. Time and traffic is just against us at the moment.
Never one to throw in the towel, Ashley ploughs on in the hope that he'll make it. 5:30 p.m. The sun sets, but disaster strikes.
So we're coming to a grinding halt again, and the only thing I can see ahead of me is brake lights as far as you can see.
For Ashley, it's crunch time.
I think I've reached the point now where I know I'm going to have to give this up because we're just not going to make it.
He's reached the point of no return and has to inform his planner.
Hello.
I'm about 80 mile away and I've got 1 hour and 10 minutes left, so it's not looking good.
Right, okay. Leave it with me. I'll give you a call back.
Ashley's failure hits him hard.
In my book, that's the worst call that you could make in a day because we all like to achieve what we set out to do. When something's come so far and you're the final link in the chain, you don't want to be the one to fail it.
The decision's been made. Ashley will stop at some services where he'll have to hand over his load to another driver.
Once I see the back of this trailer driving out the services, I'll be happy. I'll know it will get there. So I'm gonna pull into this services here.
If he doesn't park up now, he risks a fine.
I just can't go any further. I've literally got 12 minutes left, which is giving me enough time to get this thing parked up. I can't do any more.
Ashley parks up and uncouples his trailer. Then, minutes later, another Stobart driver, Mark Burke, arrives to take the wine the final 40 miles of its 10,000-mile journey from Australia, leaving behind a forlorn Ashley, who'll overnight here.
I tried my best, my best wasn't good enough.
Despite Ashley not being able to make the final delivery, the wine made it safely onto the supermarket shelves on time the next day. Just outside Manchester, the apprentices are hoping for better luck after failing their mock driving tests. The big day has arrived, and they're about to take the real thing.
It's suddenly become real. I don't like it.
See what happens. Hopefully I'll be passing, be coming out here smiling.
You know, when you get your car licence, it opens up whole new worlds for you. This is a career for me, so I need to get this one done.
A lot more nervous, there's a lot more riding on it, like it's my job, it's my future.
One by one, they hit the roads. With cameras prohibited in test situations, we had to keep our distance. Waiting at the test centre is Martin Cragg, one of the instructors, and he's also feeling the heat.
I get slightly nervous for them. It's not easy, isn't it, a truck driving test? Because they're going out on the road with what is potentially a weapon of mass destruction. I mean, these trucks can do an awful lot of damage very easily because of their size and weight. Therefore, the standard has to be so high.
So Matt will have to make sure his foot doesn't get stuck again and give other road users room, whilst Paul will have to watch out for red lights and cyclists. After an hour of driving one by one, they all come back. The first in is 22-year-old Liverpudlian Paul McIntyre.
I just got back then, the examiners just told me that I have passed and absolutely over the moon.
Next back is fellow Scouser, 18-year-old Paul With. So what's the verdict?
He told me I'd failed, got one serious, so 4 minors and a serious.
Learner drivers are allowed 15 minor faults, but a serious fault means an immediate fail.
I was coming towards a bus parked on the left-hand side, and there was cars coming the other way, so I've just put a right signal on and went to overtake it, but I was coming too fast round the bend, I think, so it just didn't have time to slow it down or anything, so we've got a serious.
But this isn't the end of the road for Paul.
No, it's not going to beat me. I've still got another 2 attempts, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I want to do it tomorrow.
And when Matt West finally returns to the test centre, there's a telling bounce in his step.
I can now drive a Class 2 lorry.
Days later, Paul With passed his test on a second attempt. In total, 8 of the 10 apprentices eventually gained their Class 2 rigid licences. The next one they'll sit will be for an articulated lorry, allowing them to drive a truck with a separate trailer.
Now I've got my Class 2, and one more step towards my goal, working properly for Eddie Stobart.
As the young apprentices prepare to join the band of 4,000 Stobart truckers, it's time to bid them all farewell for now.
Saddle up, belt up, scream if you want to go faster.
Over the past 8 weeks, some of the best in the business have faced challenges at every turn.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I don't know where I'm going.
We've got a classic example now of the Great British Summer.
This is not made for vehicles like this.
They've constantly raced against the clock.
I could get out and walk faster sometimes.
I wouldn't say I was lost, I just don't know where I'm going.
Monumental cockle.
But they've always found time for their fans.
It is absolutely bonkers.
Best day of my life.
Come on in, Tinker.
Oh my God!
And continued to make the drops that count.
Another on-time delivery for Stobart's.
Happy days.
Woohoo! So next time you see a Stobart truck go by, give give the guys and girls in green a wave.
Rocking and rolling, eh? Job's a good one. That's all, folks.